Afternoon guys, this video was requested to speak about my UPGs between Aphrodite and Eros. So let's get started. So my UPGs with Aphrodite, we'll start with Aphrodite first. I'm also, for those of you that have seen my previous videos, you know that I'm a soft polytheist, so I do see Hathor and Venus as the same as Aphrodite, but I only work with Aphrodite and her Egyptian self, Hathor. So my UPGs with Aphrodite is that I do see her as the mother of the nature nymphs, with her obviously being a nature deity herself. I do see her as the mother of the nature nymphs, like Colaris Flora and the nature nymphs. And she's also a star deity as well. She's also to do with stars, and I do as a UPG associate the Milky Way with her, and with her being the goddess of motherhood, and also cows, with her being the goddess of motherhood. And so I do associate with the Milky Way with her, and also stargazing as well, with her being the goddess of stars. I know that she actually gets worked with in the Cult of Aphrodite book. For those that read it, people do work with her by using her epithets, Aphrodite-ĥwt-hoórû. But I personally don't use any of the epithets because I see it all as her. And so I do see her to do with the stars, and I do see the Seven Sisters as UPG as the daughters of Aphrodite. They're also star deities, and their constellation is called the Pleiades. So I do see them as the daughters of Aphrodite. And I also, as a UPG, associate with Aphrodite with rainbows, because rainbows are also a symbol of love, so I do associate rainbows with her as well. And which you know, my my bestest friend, Pick the Pagan, he said it reminds him of like the old Wicca days, you know, where with the UPG sort of thing. And yeah, I can agree, you know, it does feel quite old, you know, Wicca, it's how it was back in the day. And you know, I do also work with her as a sun deity, because I know that one of the epithets is golden, and I do associate the moon with her as well, because where she associates with seas and oceans, she will have a connection with the moon, so I do actually work with her as a moon deity as well. And I do I know that which a lot of people will be against this, but I'm not personally against it, you know, women's menstrual cycles are very sacred to her, and so I would offer my, like, a blood offering in my menstrual cycle too, and I would anoint Eros with it as well. But this is how I personally do, you know, my craft. So, you know, no one has any right to go around telling me, you know, what I can and can't do. So just so you know, it's my path. I'll do what I like. You know, my path isn't the rules of everyone else's. I'm the only one that can rule it, no one else. So no one has the right to go around telling me what to do as if they are running my path, because it's actually me who's running my own path, not anyone else. So anyway, so yeah, and I do and also as a UPG, I do personally see Eros as the son of Aphrodite as well. I do also see, with her being connected to the sea, I do also see as a UPG the Nereids as the daughters of Aphrodite, and Aphrodite is also as the daughter of Aphrodite. That she, as from a UPG perspective, that she grew to love and fell in love with, So Aphrodite was also her daughter as well as her lover, but it's kind of a UPG sort of thing. I do believe that the deities went with their own kind to keep power within the family. You know, I personally believe that. I know it's an historical thing in the ancient Egyptian religion. I know that they went with each other to keep power within the family. So I know, and as a UPG, when it comes to Eros and Aphrodite, my UPG is that they also went together to create Aphrodite, Salsacea, and also from another perspective, Poseidon, Neptune as well. This is just my personal UPGs to everything, just to make it kind of all fit to how it would feel natural to me, because I deal with kind of a lot of UPGs. It's not all historical. Mine's kind of mostly UPGs with also some historical facts as well. And so I also see her, a UPG, as like a mermaid. I do associate with her as mermaids. I've loved mermaids ever since I were a kid. My favourite childhood film, Walt Disney, was actually The Little Mermaid. My mum used to say to me that I used to watch it and watch it and watch it continuously, absolutely continuously, and this is why I personally associate Aphrodite as being a mermaid. And also, as a UPG where Aphrodite is concerned, I do associate her with being a protectress of the home, because she's also to do with love and family, and with her being a mother herself. You know, I do strongly connect to Aphrodite as being the protectress of the home. And also, as a UPG protector, also UPG can turn to her where money is concerned, because I personally see her as a universal goddess, with the other deities I work with ruling alongside her. So I do see her as like the universal deity we can turn to as a UPG for money, protectors of the home, any troubles or worries, you know, that you may have, you know, to take it to her. And also like protection spells and banishing spells, you know, in general, as well. That's not like a UPG, but I do involve her in them as well. So that's my UPGs with Aphrodite. And I also as a UPG associate theatre to Aphrodite, because she does seem to have some theatrical aspects to her. And so I do see her as also connected to theatre as a UPG, and also the goddess of music as well. So I do associate belly dancing music with her, pop music with her, dance music with her, UPGs, you know, like Kylie Minogue, Lana Del Rey, Marilyn Monroe. That's my UPG with Aphrodite is Marilyn Monroe. We do like Marilyn Monroe together. I've actually offered her a Marilyn Monroe compact mirror. And Helena Paparizou, Malo, which are two Greek singers. So just to name a few artists. And so yeah. So my Eros UPGs is, as you know, I'm a soft polytheist, so I do see him as the same as Heru in Egyptian, so Eros-heru-cupid, mainly because that Eros is actually, can be worked with as a sun deity. I know one of these epithets is worded as golden, so he's not only as the deity of love and, you know, adult, which, you know, adult, but you can also work with him, you know, from a sun point of view. And I do have a connection with him with Heru, who is a sun and moon, a deity is Heru in Egyptian, but I do work with Heru in Egyptian, his Egyptian self, and also his Greek self, but I don't really work with his Roman self, Cupid, but I do see them as the same. And my UPGs with Eros is I also associate him with rainbows. I do see him also as a universal deity ruling alongside his mother Aphrodite. And so I would personally offer him like sunstone crystals, like a picture of the sun, or like a sun disc, like ornaments and things like that. And I do also see him to do with rainbows, because rainbows are a symbol of love, and he's also the god of love. So I do associate rainbows with him, and also UPG butterflies as well, because butterflies can also be a symbol of love. So I do associate, the butterflies with him as well. And I do also see him as a merman. I'm very sea orientated. I can't help it. I live at a seaside destination. I've always really had a connection to the sea. I grew up in West Yorkshire, and we, in Featherstone, and we didn't have any sea. Where I'm living now would have been, a sea destination, but I do see him as a merman. It's like my UPG with him. And I do see him as a UPG related to, the nature nymphs, the Nereids, Aphrodite-ĥwt-hoórû. I do see the same as Roman. And I do also see him as like a protector of the home, protector where you can go to about money. And pretty much the same as Aphrodite, like I also personally see him as a connection, with the stars. But that's just like ruling alongside his mother. And I do see him having a connection to fatherhood as well. Because I do personally see Aphrodite as a grandmother as well, and the grandmother would come from the from Eros-heru-cupid side of things. I do see her like with grandma connections as well. So I do see him being a connection to fatherhood and also parenthood. So women could also turn to him for parent, problems and things like that. So he's protectors of married fathers, especially single fathers, but he's also a protector of married mothers, especially single mothers. Same with Aphrodite. She's the protectress of Aphrodite-hathor-venus, should I say? She's the protectress of married women, married mothers, especially single mothers. So he's pretty much the same thing, but just because that it says protector of married fathers, especially single fathers, it doesn't mean to say that he isn't going to protect women as well. Just because it's labeled as that doesn't mean to say that women can't feel the protection from him as well. It's for either or, really. And I also see him as the connection, as a UPG with kind of the moon, again ruling alongside his mother, and obviously again, like with nature and everything. So that's kind of like my UPGs with him, pretty much the same as his mother, really, ruling alongside her, that sort of thing. So yeah, so I do see him as a sun deity, and obviously when we're in winter for Yule, when we're welcoming back the sun god, and so everything that I've mentioned, for Aphrodite, Eros is exactly the same, for Hero and Hathor, because I see them as the same, Eros and Aphrodite. So it'd be exactly the same for them as well. But from like kind of an Egyptian perspective, where nature and everything in there is concerned as well. But I do, because I know that Aphrodite, her Egyptian self Hathor, does have a connection to the sea, so I see her as like a mermaid as well. And Heru would as a UPG, which I will look into whether it is historical that he is connected to the sea. But as far as I'm aware at the moment, he isn't, so that could be put down as a UPG, but I will keep double checking on that just to make sure, because sometimes when you think it's a UPG, it actually isn't, and it turns out to be historical, so I will look into that further just to make sure. But I know that her Egyptian self Hathor is actually the original sky deity, not goddess, no. So she used to so she still rules along the skies, and the Milky Way is associated with her Egyptian self Hathor. And so yeah, so there you go, guys. It's just a video just to share my UPGs, and if you have any UPGs that's similar to mine, do comment in the comments below. You know, I'd love to hear your UPGs to what you associate with deities. But my UPG seem to keep adding, you know, pretty much all the time. It's something that feels like it's a UPG for me, you know, that it's not historically, then, you know, I will merge that in with the deities that I work with. But yeah, and the, you know, the exact same will go for, you know, Aphrodite, Salicea and Coloris Flora, which I work from the Roman perspective. I also work with Coloris for her Greek and Roman self together. They're the same one to me as a soft polytheist anyway, so there you go, guys. I hope this gives you an insight to my UPGs that I have with the deities I work with. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Have a good day.